welcome to another episode of the Amicable Divorce Network podcast. I'm your host, Tracy-Ann Moore-Grant, founder of the Amicable Divorce Network. We're in season 2 of the podcast, and if you've been following us, you know that we are going chapter by chapter through our book, Divorce Amicably, Your Roadmap to Resolution. This Amazon bestseller you can, of course, get on Amazon, and just type in Divorce Amicably. It will come up for you. It is in hardback, paperback, and Kindle version, and we are going through all 80 chapters of the book, talking with the authors and getting you the best information about how to divorce better. I am joined today by our author of Chapter 42, Stephen Bradley of OurFamilyWizard. Thank you for joining me, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
And
so 42, we're halfway there.
I know, right? I just realized I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have been doing this all year. So if you are not in real time, we are now in July of 2025. So we are talking today about OurFamilyWizard, which I think is considered the premier co-parenting software and app in family law cases. For those who are tuning in and they've never heard of OurFamilyWizard, Stephen, explain what it is.
So great. OurFamilyWizard is a co-parenting tool. It's available both on your phone, on an app on your phone, or on a website. So if you have access to technology, you have access to this app. There's several main common core features, if you will, like messaging, where you can actually send messages back and forth. You don't have to worry about spoofing or the manipulation of communication. Everything that's sent is 100% authenticated. It's 100% accurate. You can't change or mess with the communication. We have the calendar feature. So you can put everything on one shared calendar. You know when the children need to be picked up from school or from dance practice or baseball. You know when there's doctor's appointments. And it's all color coded. We don't pick the colors, you pick the colors. But it's something that's a quick reference to say, okay, mom's picking up today, dad's picking up, tomorrow, so on and so forth. We have the info bank. The info bank holds a lot of great information. All the medical records, the insurance card that always disappears, pant size, shirt size, belt size. If you got a birthday coming up, instead of having to call your co-parent and say, hey, what size does little Johnny wear? You pull up in the app and it says, oh, he's a size, small or 4T or whatever it may be. Also inside there, you can actually share information, court orders, photographs, different things like that in like a cloud type of a setting where you can just share documents. We have a My Pay feature where you can actually pay each other. There's no more of the checks in the mail. You can actually pay each other through the app for different reimbursements for school lunches or a doctor's visit, things like that. So we have a lot of good core features that kind of walk you through the process that cuts down on the back and forth, the he said, she said, and really kind of streamlines the process.
And I think for people listening, there's a misconception that OurFamilyWizard is really only for those high conflict couples, and there are definitely some features that really help them out. But for all divorcing families, there's a benefit from using OurFamilyWizard. Just what you were talking about, like just the he said, she said, the back and forth texting. One thing is that you were touching on initially, messaging within the app. So instead of text messaging one another where people can now recall text, delete text, or you're just at work and you hear that ding ding of your phone and you don't want to be irritated. The communication is within the app. And so you can choose, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at these messages and go through this right now. And it keeps a really nice record over time of the communications that have gone on.
Absolutely. Texting is, it's short message system. It's made for quick response. And that's not where we are with this. We're going through a situation, whether it's divorce or separation. And to your point, no, you don't have to be in conflict. I have healthy families that actually use this. People that use it every day because it's a great life management tool. I know who's picking up the kids from school today and who's got a doctor's appointment, things like that. But with the messaging, as you mentioned, the cool thing about not only can you have 100% accuracy with not changing of the messages, but we also have what's called tone meter AI, that when you write a horrible, ugly message, I hate your guts, it's going to pop up as a flag and say, hey, that's aggressive. You might want to kind of rewrite that. And then you can
switch over to ask a question about that really quick, because I think you tell me if I'm wrong about this, I think you get the alert, but you could choose to send the message anyway, right?
You can still choose to send the message. You can still choose to be that jerk if you want to. But not only do you get the alert, though, there's actually a suggestion tab. It'll say, hey, you might want to say it this way instead. So it'll give you a prompt and some language that you can then modify or change. You can send whatever you want to send. It's just a way to kind of promote and guide healthy communication through that process.
Because we always want people to learn there's always going to be heated moments. Don't be talking to your co-parent in that heated moment. Draft it, take that alert, or just walk away and come back, take the AI suggestion, because once it's written down, it's forever. And so particularly with Our Family Wizard, you have a court action 5 years after your initial divorce. All of that data can be pulled and used in that action for some reason if you need it.
And that's a good point, because there are some other tools that are out there, but they tell you in their terms and conditions that they can delete their information after 6 months. Well, let's just say this does take 5 years. We do not delete information off our servers. We have stuff from 23 years ago, because we know through a divorce process, things get difficult, things get expensive. Let's just stay together for the kids, we'll figure this out. And 6 months later, you hate each other again. So you come back to our platform, all your information is still there. You don't have to start from scratch. So it's a good documentation, and it's a good way to have everything recorded, like I said, in a safe place.
Yeah. And I think people also don't understand how long it takes to get to court, especially, some more complex actions, or you might have an initial action, then you have a contempt or modification. So, there's just many things that could happen. So using this just really preserves that evidence. We touched on the joint calendar, which I think every divorced family is like, do we use Google Calendar? Do we use this one? Do we use that one? One of the reasons I always recommend Our Family Wizard is because of the calendar feature, because no matter if the parties are amicable or dislike one another, I always hear some of the same problems in divorce cases. For example, let's say mom sets down little Johnny's dentist appointment for March 1st. The dad might say, I didn't find out about that until March 31st, and I had no ability to attend that appointment. I knew nothing about it. The calendar feature is very unique in that it will show the day that one parent put it on the calendar, and it'll show the day the other parent actually looked at that alert. And so it takes all of that he said, she said, just completely out of the picture.
And not only that, is you can't go back and backdate it. You can't go back on the calendar and put something on there 2 weeks ago and say, oh, you missed this appointment, because only from this moment in time forward. So it's again another way to ensure that accountability or that accuracy of communication.
Yeah, and I think one thing that it does over time is if you have people who are wanting to engage in that sort of manipulating behavior or gatekeeping, the program sort of trains them to behave better, because then they learn like, oh, this is showing what day I put this on the calendar. I need to be more proactive so I don't get in trouble. And they end up modifying their behavior because of the technology.
And you're right. And part of that modification is the fact that the professionals have access to this as well. The attorneys, the judge, the mediators, the guardian ad litem, whoever's involved with your case, they have professional access. So they can look at it and say, how come you haven't read this message yet? He's contested this, saying that you're not following along. Well, they can actually see that accuracy and guide you through that. So yes, it does support that someone's looking over your shoulder, or that sense of, I need to do the right thing to move this along rather than just playing games with my co-parent.
Yeah, I think Our Family Wizard takes out a lot of the game playing that co-parents can do to sort of nitpick at one another. The payment feature also, I mean, all of this is in one spot. We always have these issues as well of, you have to submit a receipt within 30 days of service for a medical charge. The other person has 30 days to respond, and people also bicker about those dates. I didn't get the receipt. I don't owe you until this other date. But Our Family Wizard also, sort of identifies every problem in family law and has figured out a solve for it, but particularly with this reimbursement and pay feature. So explain that a little bit.
Absolutely too. And as you're right, the receipts always end up missing, or something happens to the receipt. With the app, you can actually take a picture of the receipt. It scans it and uploads in a PDF, so it's always there. It's attached to that particular record. Not only talking about records, you can actually print off transactional documents at the end of the year for your taxes. You do a chronological, transactional, however you want to do that. But also, the settings are very user-friendly. Whatever your parenting plan may be, 70-30, 60-40 split, 50-50 split, you can go through and make the modifications yourself. The platform was built very, very user-friendly. If you can use social media, you can use this. And that's how easy it is to use.
Yeah, because in a situation where people aren't using Our Family Wizard, I might be gathering pay data to prove, for example, my client made the reimbursements or is owed from many different sources. Maybe they paid some on Venmo, and then maybe they handed a check, and now we got to look at the bank and we have to build this whole payment history, which takes an incredible amount of time and effort, as opposed to just using Our Family Wizard and downloading that data easy peasy.
Or they'll just bring in like a shoebox full of receipts to their attorney or somebody, drop it off, say, here you go. Well, that's going to be very costly for them to go through and basically scan those same receipts that you can do yourself at home. So you can cut down on the costs as well as speeding up the litigation.
Yeah. One thing that we're learning, I think, in all areas of family law is just how technology really is solving problems in family law. And so I think our Family Wizard is at the forefront of really teaching us, and they have been for many, many years, on embracing that and using what's available. A lot of the different features that it has really saves both litigation time, but also preserves the information so that it could be used as evidence, because our Family Wizard is such a trusted software that it can be used in court without issue.
Absolutely. It's used in all 50 states, actually used worldwide. And it's usually court ordered, or you can stipulate to it. You just agree to use it. You don't have to go through the court process in order to use that. It's available on our website, on OurFamilyWizard.com. But yes, it's very recognized. It's a well-recognized program for the whole process because of so many other features. Another feature I want to talk about too, COVID really kind of put us all in the same spot. I mean, it's virtual. Even virtual parenting time is a thing now. Well, with the part of our communication package is we have voice and video now, where you can actually talk, make a phone call through the app. If you need that, you can have it transcribed. So if there's some type of hostility, you can have that transcribed if you need that. Or through the video, instead of using FaceTime or another program that's not designed for family law, you can have that all with one program as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It really is, a one-stop shop. So for people who think the other parent's always interjecting on the conversations, or if people have concerns about what somebody is saying to a child, I mean, this exactly will, just solve that problem completely. Another feature that I like about it is the geo check-in.
Absolutely.
You always have, again, another issue in family law is that they'll say people aren't where they were supposed to be at a particular time. And I see this happen in two different ways. The first is that they would say a particular parent is always very early, which they find inappropriate, or very late, which, then the child is waiting around. The second part of it is they will say it is not the parent who is picking up the child. Perhaps it's a new love interest or somebody else, and they want to be able to prove that as well. So you have these sort of two different competing issues that our Family Wizard has also come up with a fix for.
And you're right, they do play games. I was parked in the back, he was parked in front, or so on and so forth. A lot of judges, a lot of jurisdictions would have the co-parents meet like at a McDonald's, for say, and go in and buy a Coke or buy something and keep the receipt just to prove that you were there on time. So we came with a feature, why not just be able to hit a check-in feature, again, like social media, I'm at Starbucks, check in, let everybody know that you're there. Now, this is not a tracker. You cannot track your co-parent. It's a moment in time. So for lack of better words, it basically opens up Google Maps, takes a screenshot, drops a pin, and closes it right back out to say, I was there. The also good thing about the safeguards of this is I can't game this system. I can't be at home and check in at the McDonald's. I have to be within so many feet of the front door in order to check in there. So again, the accuracy piece of that is really important.
And how does it work with proving it's not somebody else doing the pickup?
Well, that's just it. So all the accounts are assigned unique accounts. So there's parent one and parent two. So when parent one's going to check in on their phone, it's going to drop that pin and say that parent one or parent two was at this place at this date and time. So we know that it was that parent. Paramours or boyfriends and girlfriends or other people will not have that access to that feature in order to do that. They would have to have that person's program and so on and so forth in order to do that. Also, we have for the professionals, professional access, we have a way for them to be able to get the login and the IP information to prove that that is the actual user. Because as you mentioned, with technology today, everybody's like, oh, well, I was hacked. That wasn't me. This is a way for us to prove the accuracy behind that. So you can be assured that the information is 100% correct.
Yeah, I think it's a one-stop shop for everything that you need when you are getting a divorce. It is ideal for people to use it as co-parents together. And if you have a bigger family and you want to include step parents or grandparents or anything like that, that's also permitted. You can sort of build who your family is in the system.
Absolutely correct. And another one of the features too that talks about that is our journal feature, which the check-ins are part of the journal feature. Our journal feature looks just like social media. It's a way for you to share moments in time, like a child's birthday or a graduation, some type of celebration. You can change photographs back and forth. Well, some people say, well, why can't I just send a photograph through my text message? Well, you can, but most people aren't aware that inside photographs today, it's what's called metadata or EXIF data, which basically will disclose your location. So if you are in a situation that's high conflict or where privacy is safety, or you need to have that privacy, well, we scrub the metadata out of that. So when you send a message through Our Family Wizard, you can be assured that you're private, you're safe, but you're still abiding by the wishes of your co-parent and sharing these photographs.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Sometimes we do have cases that involve domestic violence, stalking, and Our Family Wizard is approved for those situations as well for exactly what you're talking about. First, you can communicate within the app without having to disclose your cell phone number. It takes away all sort of information about your location, date, time, anything like that that is on a normal picture. And so it does have a lot of different safety features. Also with, the paying feature, you don't have to give somebody your bank information. It really is structured in a way to create privacy and safety in both high conflict and domestic abuse situations, as well as just the everyday divorce where you're moving on separately.
And not only that, it keeps everything in one location. Because I know a lot of professionals, a lot of your listeners will probably have multiple email addresses or maybe have multiple phone numbers. Well, where do they send that message to? I have no idea. Yeah. This way they know it's all in one place, and they can PDF anything out of there. They can PDF all their messages, they can get their calendar, they can get, again, the bank statements, all from within the app. So all your information is housed in one place. So no matter your situation, whether you're high conflict, you're healthy everyday family, you're amicable, whatever it may be, it's a great tool to keep everything on track.
Yeah, it really does solve all of the problems, and I'm sure we'll continue to grow and evolve. Are there any highlights to the program that we haven't hit on? We've hit on my favorite features.
Well, like I said, now there's not one we haven't hit on. Just as I said, the voice and video, that's been got a lot of well-received reviews from that, from a lot of custody evaluators and people that are really, there's always going to be he said, she said, they call it parent alienation, where one parent's trying to pit one kid against one child against the other, or the parent, something like that. Again, you have the accuracy of the transcripts of the communication if necessary. The tone meter AI, that's a new feature for us. Tone meter's been around for a long time, but tone meter AI now gives you that prompt to actually tell you, say it this way. And again, you don't have to say it that way. It's a suggestion. But it kind of says, hey, this looks a lot better, because I know a lot of attorneys will tell you probably agree that a lot of people, especially in the moment, they send a lot of things they shouldn't do. And that always comes back to bite you in the butt. The professional access, that's a number one feature where, again, whoever you're working with, they can get access. They don't have to call you and bug you. You don't have to worry about return messages. The professional can log in and they can get what information they need for your case. So there's a lot of amazing features to the whole program.
Yeah, as a guardian ad litem, when I was investigating the best interests of children, this was always the standard. And then I could view the parent communications, look at the schedule myself. I'm going to do a home visit or go to this or that, and look at everything really without having to bug anybody. All of the information is right there. It's great for parent coordination and even for psychologists who are helping with co-parenting, or even to see what's going on with a child, can really look under the hood and see what's going on in these situations. For anybody that's listening, they can just literally go to Our Family Wizard, OurFamilyWizard.com, and explore the different packages and features and sign up, right?
Absolutely correct. And also, if there are situations of financial hardships, we do have a fee waiver. So don't feel like, if $149, for the year is too expensive for you, there are financial hardship waivers that will make it absolutely free if you meet that need. So we want to make sure you have all the tools that you need, rather than going with a different tool that may not give you the accuracy or even have the information that when you actually need it. So we make it very affordable that way as well.
Yeah, there's some other tools out there, but they don't have all of the same features or security measures or, all of these different things. So Our Family Wizard definitely rises to the top when it comes to family law professionals and what we recommend, because it's better to do it correctly the first time, because then trying to rebuild a history of, Venmo and this and that in a different phone and somebody deleted a text message is a nightmare, as opposed to just do it right and get it done and move forward. And Our Family Wizard helps us do that. Well, Stephen, thank you very much for everything that you do for Amicable Divorce Network and for joining me today. Stephen's specialty is really cybersecurity. And so if that is something also that you're interested in as an expert in your case or through parenting and family law, you can find Stephen at the Amicable Divorce Network and review his profile to reach out to him. Stephen, what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
It'd be through OurFamilyWizard.com, or you can always find me on LinkedIn as well. But those are my two ways really I know to get hold of me.
Yeah, and people are always contacting Amicable Divorce Network to find Stephen Bradley, and we will connect you as well. So if you reach out to us at info@amicableddivorcenetwork.com, we will also get you right to Stephen. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.